I gave myself 24 hours to 100% Lego Harry Potter years 1 through 4. This honestly could be the best Lego game out of all of them. The spells that you could do and the people that you could play. And Harry Potter is goated.
But not a whole lot of time to do it, so let's hop in. Our journey begins with Dumbledore taking a midnight stroll, talking to a cat and getting jump scared by Professor McGonagall before Hagrid commits a Class C felony level of property damage, and together they lovingly deliver baby Harry to an abusive household. Years later, while eating with his aunt, uncle, and cousin Dudley, who shares a name with a dog my grandma sends me pictures of, Harry starts getting letters from Hogwarts that get ignored by the Dursleys until eventually Hagrid comes to pick him up and take him to Diagon Alley, where the playable game begins. Like always when I play a new Lego game, I began by smashing things and filling the stud bar at the top of the screen, which in this game is called True Wizard. Obviously, to 100% the game, I'll need to get True Wizard in all 24 of the main levels. With me never playing this before, I was curious to see how magic would work. It gets more complex as the game goes on, but in this first level, it's basically just the Force from Lego Star Wars. As we walk through Diagon Alley, Hagrid put a barrel on his head because he's a man of whimsy. We saw Professor Not a Bad Guy. I rescued a student in peril, there's one of these hidden in each level, and combined ingredients in a cauldron to make an IED. We went into a bank that's entirely staffed by greedy little creatures called goblins, and we get to take control of one.
This part for me, sorry, I didn't mean to click off. This part for me was so confusing. Like I was so confused how to figure it out. I played it on the DS and the Wii. Did you guys, what did y'all play it on? Did y'all play it on the DS or did y'all play it on the Wii?
One of them named Grip Hook, who can use his key on locks like this throughout the whole game. We open a bank vault with all of Harry's gold present. I guess the wizard world doesn't have fractional reserve banking. Hagrid grabs a mysterious bag, probably Fint. Harry gets his first wand, and that was level 1. I got enough studs for True Wizard, so for that, the student in peril, and just completing the level, I got 3 gold bricks out of 200 in total in this game, which is a lot more than I expected. Harry goes to a train station where he meets a family of mythical creatures that don't have souls, and together they take a train then a boat to Hogwarts. Once there, the Sorting Hat segregates students based on if it thinks they're good or an evil piece of shit, and I was now in the Gryffindor headquarters as Harry and Ron. The Hogwarts castle serves as the main explorable hub world where you can find hidden gold bricks, character tokens, which let you then purchase those characters at the store, and there are an additional 26 students in peril to rescue throughout Hogwarts. To continue the story, you do story-related things in Hogwarts that aren't actual levels, like here I went into a charms classroom where a cutscene plays, and we learn the Wingardium Leviosa spell to make objects levitate. To make an object float, you just point your wand at it and say Wingardium Leviosa.
You're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa.
Thank you, Hermione, but counterpoint, shut the fuck. Next, we went to the school cafeteria where Perks of being a wallflower gets food thrown at her in full view of every professor, who all choose to do nothing. Purple guy comes in and warns of a mountain troll, and Harry and Ron set off to stop it, and over 38 minutes in, I'm finally just now starting the second level.
Whoa, what's that?
Stop it, and over 38 minutes in, I'm finally just now starting the second level. In this level, we get to use Ron's ability to send his big bone rat and pipes to hit switches. I put 3 goldfish into a fountain, which got me my first house crest. These are like this game's version of mini kits, but there are only 4 in each level, 1 for each Hogwarts house. Harry and Ron break into the girls' bathroom where Hermione is washing rectangle pizza off her face until she gets attacked by the Victor Wembanyama monster, and this leads to a boss fight that's really easy. You just throw stuff at him. Then for the last heart, you drop his club on his head, giving him permanent brain damage. Speaking of brain damage, I had a concussion playing high school football, and I still get headaches when I ride roller coasters. Feels bad, man. I returned to Hogwarts where we had another charms lesson to unlock the spell Lumos, which turns our wands into flashlights that can also scare away evil vines. Then we went to potions class with the priest from Midnight Mass, where we learned to make a steroid potion that gives us the strength to pull levers that normally only Hagrid or other buff characters can. We had another lesson where Ron gets tangled in vines, and another one where the game teaches you how to fly on a broomstick. Then we made our way to the Quidditch.
Oh, that was the best mission. When you flew on the broomstick.
Ron gets tangled in vines, and another one where the game teaches you how to fly on a broomstick. Then we made our way to the Quidditch field, where thankfully this was an actual level. While Harry is flying around on a broom playing Quidditch, a curse is laid upon him that somehow in this arena of wizards no one notices except us, and we have to go save the day. At this point I was grabbing studs as I explored the level, but I wasn't trying to go for True Wizard and was more concerned with just getting through ASAP to preserve time. These games aren't exactly rocket science,
unless you're stupid.
But nonetheless, having never played this before did slow me down a bit in comparison to a game I know inside and out like Lego Star Wars: A Complete Saga. I found a character token for Harry's girl disguise. We worked our way through the stands. Hermione set Professor Red Herring on fire. Harry was freed from the curse, and he caught the only part of Quidditch that matters to win the game and in level 3. I wasn't happy with my progress at this point, but my frown turned into holly jolliness as Hagrid brought in Christmas trees and all the characters put on Santa hats. For Christmas, Ron gets a shirt and Harry gets an invisibility cloak, which they proceed to use for
Life is not fair. Life is not fair. They're also making a Lego Harry Potter show. HBO Lego Potter. I bet it'll come up for that. Yeah, check this out.
I told you. You are a normal boy.
Anyways, it gets pretty crazy. Then they have, look at Hagrid. Look at Hagrid. That's Hagrid. I kind of see it. He looks like a what's it called? Oh, he looks like a gingerbread man. Hey, he looks like a gingerbread man to me.
mischief, like exploring the restricted section of the library, which contains off-limits books on subjects like dark magic, ancient books, and the Fountainhead. This level introduces a mechanic where an elderly man grabs one of the boys and yells at them until you assault his cat. I'm not even joking, like that's literally what it is. I got another house crest and discovered a mirror that shows the deepest and most desperate desires of one's heart. Like for Harry, it shows him his parents. For me, it would probably show two things. One, this YouTube channel hitting something crazy like 1 million subscribers, and two, Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus is...
Yo, skip that ad, but yo, get this guy to 1 million subscribers. This guy makes good videos. Get this guy to 1 million subscribers, okay? All right, we're gonna play back here.
For sponsoring this video. We walked to Hagrid's hut where he showed us his pet unicorn who was sick with unicorn AIDS, and we walked into the woods with blonde douchebag Draco Malfoy looking for more unicorns, but so was he who shall not be named, Lynn Elliott, and as the non-Harry and Malfoy characters, we have to go save them. I fought giant hornets, freed a student in peril, found a token for Fang the dog, got stuck for a second because I didn't realize dogs can climb ladders, found a crest, built blocks, and we found a signal flare above Harold Potter who was then saved by Rule 34 bait. Back at Hogwarts, we see Professor Turban hauling equipment upstairs and follow him to the beginning of level 6 where we have to calm a 3-headed dog by playing a harp. We drop down and Ron gets caught by vines because he's stupid, then we find a room with a bunch of keys. I wonder which is the one that opens the door. Next up was a chessboard where I put my 450 ELO to good use and easily checkmated the other side in this video game for children. Harry pulls a Sorcerer's Stone out of his pocket, or Philosopher's Stone if you're a communist, and Professor Quirrell reveals himself to be possessed by Pazuzu, triggering the final boss fight of year 1. I was playing as Hermione and was confused at first as to what I'm supposed to do because nothing seemed to be working. Then I remembered in the movie, Harry killed him just by touching him, and sure enough, simply walking up to him as Harry did the trick. Harry brutally ripped him limb from limb like a psychopath while his parents laughed. Evil Monster Man rage quit, and that was the final level of year 1 done.
Dang. And he did that whole thing in 2 hours. Wow. That was pretty fast. This guy freaking moves through these Lego games.
A little over 2 hours in, I had completed 8.7% of the game. The game sent me back to the Leaky Cauldron, which I didn't realize until now serves as kind of a second hub. There are more collectibles hidden here, but more importantly, this is where you can buy characters, a few extra gold bricks, red bricks in the form of parcels, and extra spells.
Let me clear something up about AI agents after using Monday.com for a week.
I went into the Gringotts Bank, which triggered a cutscene where we ride a roller coaster down into the vaults, and after opening the first vault, I was asked to play a bonus level. Since I was here, I figured why not? This one just has you collect 100,000 studs and you get a gold brick. Then I thought, hey, I did one bonus level, why not do more? Level 2 was more of a puzzle, level 3 was more of the same, then level 4 had me using a few mechanics that I wasn't shown in the main levels yet, but I figured out. Then I came to level 5 where I needed to have a Ravenclaw character unlocked to beat, which I didn't have, so I had to do a rain check here. I did 4 levels where all they do is show you how to build your own levels, and you don't get a gold brick for them, so I don't know if this actually counts towards anything or not, but whatever. After half an hour of bonus leveling, it was back to Hogwarts for me to begin year 2. Harry gets yelled at by his uncle, then goes to his room where he finds a self-harming house elf who levitates a cake and slams it on a house guest's face, leading to Harry getting locked in his room until Ron shows up in a flying car to save him. We go to the Weasley household where we crash in the front yard and level 1 of year 2 begins. I tossed gnomes around, the 6th of which gave me a house crest, and I drove a giant pumpkin and went inside the house. Our objective inside inside the house is to find Ron's little sister Ginny, Harry's future wife, because he's a fellow redhead enjoyer. Harry tries to teleport to Diagon Alley, except he's too stupid to say the words Diagon Alley, so the level picks up with him in a creepy shop with Hagrid before we break our way out and go to Nocturne Alley where the vampires hang out. Once we made our way to Diagon Alley, everyone was fangirling over Gilderoy Lockhart. This is like me every time I go out in public. Papa Malfoy shows up and starts talking about the purity of the wizard race, and that's level 1. We return to the train station where Harry and Coppercab try to go through the portal, except it's blocked by Dobby, so instead they take the flying car and fly to Hogwarts, where thankfully they were wearing their seatbelts and we're back in the castle for year 2. I was introduced to another mechanic with these plant guys that have a sonic scream. You enter a closet and put on earmuffs, and you can carry them around and break glass before storing them in a bucket. We had another magic lesson where we learned to take on pixies. While walking in the hallway, we found a bunch of spiders and a paralyzed cat and a message on the wall. I collected a few more gold bricks and whatnot before making it to the Quidditch field for the second level of year 2. On this episode of Harry almost dies playing school sports, he gets chased by an evil bowling ball possessed by Dobby, so as the other children plus Hagrid, we have to go stop him. But I was more worried about collecting studs and whatever house crest I could to save time later. After we brutalize Dobby, Harry catches a golden snitch, then breaks his wrist, which Professor Lockhart tries to fix, only to turn Harry's arm into Alex Smith's leg, and I thought that was the end of the level, but apparently there's a whole second half where we have to go get the ingredients to make Harry a bone regrower potion. After fixing Harry's arm, Camera Boy was brought to the infirmary, where he was paralyzed like the cat from before. Oh no, this must mean there's evil afoot. Next up was another magic lesson where we learn Expelliarmus, which disarms enemies, which I first practiced on dummies before using on another dummy named Draco Malfoy while the crowd made throw-up noises. Harry hisses and talks to a snake, not exactly beating the psychopath allegations. We go back to potions class and make a polyjuice potion, which lets me change to any other character I've unlocked. Right now, I just have the main trio and Justin Finch Fletchley. We entered a new part of the school, which is like the old bathroom section or something or other, and went into the girls' room to begin level 3, where we gather the ingredients to make another polyjuice potion to disguise Ron and Harry as Slytherin while Hermione turns herself into a furry. I put goldfish into water to unlock another house crest. We fought a giant snake, snuck into the Slytherin Commons, rescued a student in peril, looked at Malfoy, and that has to be the shortest level so far. Meanwhile, Hermione sees a different giant snake and gets petrified, so Harrison and Ronald McDonald return to the bathroom where we have a boss fight with Moaning Myrtle, a nickname I'm not going to make any jokes about, and after defeating her, we get Tom Marvolo Riddle's diary, which sends Harry back in time to the 1940s, where it's black and white, of course, given that the world didn't have color until the year 2000. I got another house crest for destroying knight statues as Tom and I navigated our way through the pre-civil rights Hogwarts halls until we came across Hagrid, where Tom tried to kill his pet spider and Harry gets sent back to modernity. Just now past the 4-hour mark, Ron and I followed a trail of spiders to Hagrid's house where he gets arrested, probably for taking dog raising advice from his son, so we kept following the spider trail alongside Fang, which took us to the Dark Forest where level 5 begins. I was pretty consistently getting 1 crest per level at this point, so that was nice. We asked a giant spider if he's seen Hermione or Moaning Myrtle, then a boss fight starts where we're attacked by smaller giant spiders and have to throw the black ones at the mama spider to take down its hearts. Then the level ends with a car chase where I went kinda slow to make sure I didn't miss getting another.
Yo, that in the movies was so scary. I mean, yeah, that just looks crazy. Yeah, that's scary looking. Harry Potter cooked with that one. I mean, that's like nightmare fuel. Oh, they're like hanging from the ceiling. Yeah, I hope to never see something like that in my life.
House crest. We returned to Hermione, who was frozen with an unflattering facial expression. I idled for a few minutes to set my Survivor League pick as the Cardinals over Titans. Fuck! And we made our way to Lockhart's office to begin level 6, where we returned to the girls' bathroom for a 3rd time in year 2 alongside Professor Groomer. This level, Student in Peril, is impossible to miss because it's just part of completing the level, and after crawling through tubes as a rat and hopping, we uncovered the passageway to the Chamber of Secrets. This takes us to a spooky, scary place with lots of bones, and Harry gets separated from Ron and Lockhart and proceeds to the chamber himself, where he finds young Ginny, Ginny, but he's also greeted by Tom Riddle, who's somehow the same age as the flashback from before, and Tom reveals his true identity. If you rearrange the letters in his name, it actually spells Bad Guy McScaryface. The level ends with a boss fight that's much more complex than the one at the end of year 1. There's a giant snake called a basilisk, and at first you have to stand in front of big rock piles and let him smash into them trying to eat you. Then you have to round up ingredients to make a strength potion to pull a lever and unleash the mythical phoenix on the serpent, until finally we remove the last heart by stabbing it through the face with a sword. Then we kill Tom Riddle by stabbing his diary, Rip Bozo. Harry gives Dobby a sock to free him. Hermione is no longer frozen, and year 2 is now complete just under the 5-hour mark, and I was through 18.9% of the game. For you math experts out there, 18.9% in 5 hours is not an under 24-hour pace. So for year 3 and year 4, we're gonna need to go. Harry's aunt and uncle are jerks and bad things happen. Harry goes to Diagon Alley, where Mr. Weasley warns him about Gary Oldman. The first level starts with a boss fight against an evil book, then advances to me repairing a train, riding said train, and fighting Dementors as Professor Lupin. Back at Hogwarts, everyone has their pets: a rat, a cat, and a frog. In defense against the dark arts class, we learned the spell Ridiculous, which makes scary things silly. We found the divination class, which is all about tea reading and other bullshit. Hagrid teaches us how to fly Buckbeak the Hippogriff, and finally level 2 of year 3 has Harry, Fred, and George navigate a secret passage to the town of Hogsmeade. Once in Hogsmeade, we pop out in the candy shop before breaking free and exploring the snowy streets and clothes that don't look warm enough given the weather. We come to an open area where the Slytherins are bothering the homies, and this leads to a snowball fight, but unfortunately this isn't exactly what happens in the book or movie, making it literally unplayable. We go further into town where a giant snow boulder blocks a door and we have to put a bunch of brooms on it. Then Harry puts on his invisibility cloak and eavesdrops people talking about Sirius Black. I was over 1 million studs finally at this point, by the way, but also now over 6 hours in. Back in the Gryffindor room, Harry looks at the People Finder map and sees a squirrely looking fella, so him and Ron take off in the Hogwarts halls to go find him, but for some reason the halls are full of puzzles and not simply walkable. Then we go outside where we have to deal with the elderly cat owner again. I accidentally got Ron eaten by a snake, and instead of Peter Pettigrew, we found Hans Gruber. Next up was another magic lesson for Harry only, where Professor Lupin teaches him Expecto Patronum to take out Dementors, which are evil beings who suck the souls out of people that Dumbledore saw fit to have roam the school campus. We return to Hagrid's house where he gave Ron his missing pet rat back. Then an executioner comes to kill Buckbeak, so we run away and Ron chases his rat to an evil tree. Then a black dog shows up and takes Ron and the rat inside the tree, and long story short, I had a boss fight against said tree where it picks you up and you blast it with magic. Then as Harry and Hermione, I walk through another scary passageway under the tree before making it into an old wooden house where Sirius XM is waiting, and Lupin shows up and hugs him. Then Snape appears and Harry eats him, and I take over as Lupin and Sirius.
Yo, is it just me, or is this guy talking at 1,000,000 miles per minute?
As we chase Ron's rat around the room. And we go back outside, but the moon is full and Professor Lupin adopts his first Sona, and this is still the same level, my goodness. After making a potion and fighting giant spiders, I caught up to the dogfight where Harry is about to get Rawhead Rex by Lupin, until he gets distracted away and Harry and Sirius go to the lake where the spooky, scary skeletons show up to eat them, until they're saved by Agalock Albamart, and okay, that's the end of the level. Harry and Hermione wind back the clock, and level 5 begins with us having to save Buckbeak from getting his bird head cut off, which we do, of course, by destroying everything and breaking the chains tethering him to the earth. The next part of the level is about finding a vinyl record of a wolf howl. Along the way, I rescued a student in peril from stingers. We make our way to the lake where a pack of Dementors show up, and I have to defeat them all to end level 5. We rode our winged friend to the roof of Hogwarts, where in this level it's non-stop Dementor fighting. We went to the Hogwarts Detention Center, where we had to fight a bunch of Dementors at once, including the King Dementor for this year's mandatory end boss fight. We saved Sirius from execution. He stole our giant bird, and now just under 7 hours I was done with year 3, 26% of the way through the game, and only had 1 year left of this game anyway. A man goes into a creepy old house where he discovers Rat Boy and 5 o'clock Shadow talking to a mysterious figure, then he fucking dies. Meanwhile, Harry, the Weasleys, Hermione, and Robert Pattinson go through a wormhole to end up at the Quidditch World Cup. Oh my god, he's juggling frog! But after watching the Quidditch match, the campgrounds get attacked by the Wizard KKK, and as Hermione and Ginny, we have to rescue everyone else, which we do by fighting off Death Eaters at various locations in various ways. Afterwards, Harry gets trampled and the rest of the crew looks for him hours later on the now burned out campgrounds. Once we find him, an evil snake monster appears in the sky and we get surrounded by Death Eaters in a fire circle for a big fight to conclude level 1. Back at Hogwarts, the usual crew are joined by scary Eastern European men, a giant lady, and French girls, and I'm allowed to once again free roam. We did another potions lesson where we learned to make an old people disguise potion. The Goblet of Fire picks 3 losers to compete in the Triwizard Tournament. Then, fourth, it spits out Harry Potter despite him not being eligible. What is bro doing? Dumbledore asked calmly. I'll mention real quick, because some of you may be wondering, usually in these LEGO playthroughs, I start getting red bricks, in this game parcels, before completing the main story. But I didn't here because I only had the 3 main characters plus Justin Finch Fletchley. I didn't have every spell unlocked yet, so they weren't even at their own.
Yo, this guy talks too fast. I literally can't even I can't even freaking think. This video is top 3 Harry Potter videos of all time. Let me know if you've seen it before. Oh, this is satisfying. Look, it's gonna come out right here. It's gonna come out right here. This is so satisfying. Slytherin. Ravenclaw. This is so cool. Oh, a big old raven. I can't wait for that big one to knock down at the end. Good ad placement. That was a cool video.